What up, dorks? It's your friendly neighborhood dork night here. I just wanted to do a quick Raw recap video. It was the Raw after Clash in Italy that took place yesterday. And of course, because they're still in Torino, Italy, Raw came on at like 11 a.m. Pacific. And, I had to, you know, do life and work and things like that. But I just finished basically watching Raw, and this one is tied in directly to my videos yesterday. I did go 3 for 5 in my predictions for Clash, and tonight WWE immediately started moving the pieces into you know on the chessboard, if you will, moving forward to the next PLE, to the what is it, the Night of Champions. So this episode dealt with the fallout from Clash. We had a couple first round matches from the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, and yeah, let's just get into it. So after we get to the opening, blah blah blah, this is where we are, look how beautiful it is, and they can't make up their mind. They call it Turin, Italy, Torino, Italy. They all call it something different. But I'm going to talk about what worked, what didn't, where the tournament, I guess, is headed, or at least the results of the first two matches. And then I'm going to go over a special treat, because yesterday in one of my videos, I talked about how amazing the AAA match was. The match versus the mask versus mask, and so they actually showed that on Raw at the end, which was the best damn part of the show, best part of the weekend, really. So we'll get to talk about that for a little bit. This Raw, though, let's get right into it. It felt like an actual Fallout show. It actually felt connected to Clash in Italy, and that matters, because sometimes the Raws after PLEs, it feels like the WWE just moves on too quickly. Like a great example of this is this year's Raw after WrestleMania. It just didn't work for me. They dropped all kinds of stuff. We still haven't seen Randy Orton. CM Punk has disappeared. There were a lot of things about that Raw that didn't work. This one, fortunately, didn't have that issues. It felt like there were real consequences. We get Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Oba Femi, Saul Ruca, Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker. We follow up on all of those storylines. We get the first round of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, and everything felt very much connected to what happened at Clash. I feel like, or it felt like rather, the WWE used Clash to set things in motion, then used Raw to start answering those questions. So this wasn't like Raw had a hangover. It was finally Raw remembering that consequences are supposed to exist, and not just, things happen and then there's no follow-up. Speaking of consequences, it's Acknowledgement Day. The Bloodline fallout was one of the biggest pieces of the show. I mean, shit, it was the first 23 minutes of Raw alone. But I actually honestly didn't even mind. I mean, early this morning on my Twitter feed, it's like, it was early as shit, dude. Like, but I guess they're in Italy. But Roman Reigns tweets, "Nothing better than Acknowledgement Day." And I'm like, really? Not even your birthday or your anniversary with your wife? But whatever. I love how they use Twitter to kind of still progress their character. Anyway, I digress. We all knew that Fatu lost to Reigns at Clash, meaning that on Raw he was going to have to acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief. Now, here's my issue. I don't want Jacob Fatu turned into a glorified indentured servant. He's too dangerous for that. He's too intense for that. He should feel like a problem that Roman thinks he has under control. Now, I really did like the acknowledgement moment. I liked how they handled it, how he got into Jay's face, and, but I didn't like commentary. I don't want Fatu to feel neutered, as Michael Cole put it. This motherfucker should feel like a pit bull that Roman keeps calling a therapy dog or some shit like that. You know what I mean? He's he really should feel scary and threatening. But overall, though, I do like the setup. Hopefully, they stick the landing and they don't fuck it up. But I feel like, again, Fatu getting into Jey's face, basically as if to say, I may acknowledge our tribal chief, but I sure as fuck don't acknowledge your punk ass. I like that. And I liked him still remaining stoic as the segment ended. In fact, when we see the bloodline later, Jacob's nowhere to be found. So like I said, there are little hints, little things. It is a bit of a reminder from the 2020 with, is basically Jacob the new Jey Uso, like I pointed out in one of my videos yesterday. But we'll see. Just color me interested. Next on Raw was the first Fatal 4-Way match for the King of the Ring tournament. It was Oba Femi versus Penta versus Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes. Now, you guys got my thoughts on this yesterday. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I think it's fucking stupid we didn't have qualifier matches. If they want to have Fatal 4-Ways, make those fucking qualifiers. But the King of the Ring tournament brackets should be one-on-one matches. It's like they do this to hedge their bets because they're afraid to, like, make somebody lose. But, I mean, what the fuck, man? It's wrestling. So, anyway, I guess I just did what I said I wasn't going to do. Long story short, Oba Femi won that match and advanced. And that was the right call after yesterday. Excuse me. Even though I called Oba losing to Brock at Clash because the WWE loves their trilogies, he really needed a rebound. He needed it immediately, especially if WWE wants us to still take him as a serious threat. If they want us to believe he's this monster who's capable of being basically our next Brock Lesnar or a Brock Lesnar replacement, there's no way he could come in losing the next night, even in a Fatal 4-Way. It was the exact type of rebound he needed. I'm glad that he won. And quite frankly, I hope he goes on to win the whole goddamn thing. And then he can go to SummerSlam and face the champion. Although I don't even want to start fantasy booking yet. The win over Penta, Solo Sikoa, who he pinned, and Carmelo Hayes puts him right back on track. And plus, afterwards, he gets on the mic and he addressed the Brock situation. So that story's not dead. And he even said, I'll see you, like, we're going to get that rubber match for sure. Anyways, next on Raw, Ruca came out as the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. She beat Becky Lynch last night, which was another prediction I got right. But it was also her first pinfall victory since her call-up. So this should have felt like a turning point, like after the botches we've seen, unfortunately, she's needed momentum. She's needed a reset. She needed the WWE to make it feel like this was intentional, not someone hit random on a booking screen or threw a dart at the booking chart or something like that. But unfortunately, what we got was a really bad Liv Morgan impersonation and basically a please clap segment. She talked about being a fighting champion, and later Lyra Valkyria challenged her to a match backstage, which sounded like Sol Ruca accepted. So, in the words of Simon Miller, geese title shot. But at least there's a direction, I guess. Sadly, I'm not as high on Sol as I once was. And I really hope that changes because she was badass in NXT. And she was really good on the John Cena Saturday night's main event against Bayley. But who knows? Maybe Bayley did a lot of the heavy lifting. But anyway, the next segment had us backstage with Roman and the Usos. This is one I mentioned earlier where Jacob was nowhere to be found. And I thought it was cute because Roman, he looks at his title belt and he looks at Jey and he's like, you've had this one, but you haven't had, the other one, whatever. I think, Cody was on the screen or something. Basically, the WWE Undisputed Championship that Cody beat Roman for. And he says a cool line. He's like, there's two ends of the table. And he basically tells Jey that Jey needs to go on to win the King of the Ring so he can go get the bloodline, get the family, the WWE Undisputed Championship at SummerSlam. So, big question there is this more gaslighting or does Roman really love his family? Because, if Jey does win King of the Ring, is that Jey becoming his own man or is that Roman still playing chess with the whole family? It's, basically classic bloodline shit. I'm a sucker for it, so, it worked on me. Next up, we had Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee versus Ethan Page and Rusev. Nothing spectacular, nothing to write home about. I wouldn't have had Ethan Page take the pin, but, whatever. There are worse things than getting pinned by Rey Mysterio. I just think Rusev should have been the one to take it. After that match, there was a backstage segment where Adam Pearce let Penna know that coming soon he will get to defend his title against Rey Mysterio. So the two of them are looking forward to that, and we know that's going to be a really good match. Then we had LA Knight. He had a hilarious, hilarious interaction with Pierce. I love that guy. Hopefully they do something with him soon, before it's too late. I mean, if it isn't already, but anyway. Next on Raw was the women's fatal four-way match for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Iyo Sky versus Roxanne Perez versus Julia versus Lash Legend. Iyo Sky won and advanced, and, I'm not bad about it at all. Io's one of those people who can win any match, and I'm usually fine with it. She's credible, she's exciting, and she always delivers. So, not much else to say about it. Next up was the main event. So this was a pretty quick Raw. It was about, the bout was between Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. Seth won, but, there was shenanigans at the end, interference. I mean, Montez Ford comes out. He takes out Austin Theory. It creates an opening for Seth to grab the one of the titles. Before Seth grabs the title, Bron Breakker tries to spear Seth through a barricade, but Seth jumps out of the way, and he ends up spearing Paul Heyman through the barricade. So that was like, oops. And then while all that commotion was going on, Seth grabbed Bron's title belt. And then Seth runs back into the ring, goes to spear, and hits his head on the title belt that Seth is holding. Seth tosses it out of the ring before the ref gets back in. He does the stomp on Bron Breakker. Ref comes back in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins Rollins wins. I almost called him Braun. Seth Rollins wins. But Braun doesn't feel buried. And hopefully Paul's okay. He's old fat guy. Maybe it's a way to. Maybe they're going to finally get rid of the Vision. That whole faction's just been cursed. It seems. Snake bit, if you will. It was good to see Montez Ford, but I mean, shit, dude. He's been ready for years. I love that guy. I really think they, just like LA Knight, they've missed it with him. Fortunately, he's significantly younger than LA Knight, so there's still hope for him, I guess. Overall, I thought Raw was okay. I suppose as a post-PLE Fallout show, it did its job. But do you need to see it? I mean, if you watched me talk for the last, 13 some odd minutes, I'd save the 2.5 hours of your life, because you're pretty much good. I caught you up on everything, pretty much. I can't even think of a single clip worth seeking out. That said, we got a very special treat at the end of Raw. It's on the Netflix feed, and I highly, highly recommend you watch it. I raved about it yesterday, one of my videos. It's the AAA Noche de los Grandes main event match, which was the mask versus mask match of El Grande Americano versus the original El Grande Americano. So, a.k.a. Ludwig Kaiser versus Chad Gable. And El Grande Americano won, forcing the original El Grande Americano to a mask. And surprise, surprise, it's Chad Gable, which we kind of knew all along. But yeah, the story was done. And I tell you guys, you got to go watch the video package. And I'm really glad that they didn't just put the match on. They put the entire video package on beforehand, so you get the whole story, so it makes sense. It gives you the context. And then the match is fucking amazing. It's better than any match. I'd go as far as to say it's probably better than any match that happened at WrestleMania, and it was definitely better than the entirety of Clash in Italy, the one match. So if you've got 45 minutes to an hour and you like wrestling and want to see good wrestling, good storytelling with a great payoff and a really emotional promo at the end by Chad Gable, where he finally, like in Rocky 4, he turns the whole crowd, like by unmasking and pouring out his heart and showing the respect. He won the crowd over. I loved it. If you can't tell, the the match, the crowd, the emotion, the stakes, the story, the tradition, the respect afterward, all of it worked. Especially because they show you that video package. So don't skip it. You should watch it. And it's kind of cool. I'm a big comic book guy anyway, if you can't tell from all the shit behind me. And they do it in like a comic booky style. They take turns speaking English and Spanish, but there's subtitles. So when they speak Spanish, there's English subtitles in kind of a cool comic booky way. And when they speak English, there are Spanish subtitles. So it was awesome. I mean, basically everything about it worked for me. It was the kind of wrestling that reminded me of how powerful a simple story can be when it actually means something and everybody involved gives a shit and does it right. And honestly, that one match, that one story, again, I'm just repeating myself, I'm sorry, it was just better than the entire Clash in Italy PLE. And WWE had to know this because when Raw ended, Netflix basically said, hold on, don't leave yet. And they gave us that match replay. Because let's face it, the Clash in Italy was not good. I mean, if you got to be fair about it, it just wasn't. And it's nobody's fault except the bookers and the agents. And I forgot to say, that reminded me, they had the same stupid bottom rope foot thing in the Bron Breakker Seth Rollins match. So not only did they have it in the first two matches of the PLE yesterday, the very next day, in the very same venue, in the final match of the night, Paul Heyman puts Bron Breakker's foot on the bottom rope. Like, come on, guys. What is it like? Can we, anyway, I'm not exaggerating. It's so infuriating, but I've already had a heart attack in my life and I don't need another one. When I decided to make this video today, it was before I watched Raw. I did it because I thought, hey, I need more content, and I covered the PLE yesterday, and I thought basically it'd be good to cover at the very least the Raw after Clash in Italy. Yet somehow I'm still talking about El Grande Americano and Chad Gable bleeding through a mask in Mexico, and that being the best wrestling I saw all weekend. So wrestling's weird. Wrestling's beautiful. And as I believe Simon Miller says, it's the most important of the least important things. Sometimes wrestling does actually get it right, though. And this time it happened to be AAA, which I guess technically WWE owns, but whatever. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I didn't take too long. Let me know what you thought of the Raw after Clash. Did Oba Femi need that win? Is Jacob Fatu really falling in line, or is Roman playing with fire? Who are your picks to win King and Queen of the Ring? I haven't decided on Queen of the Ring yet, but I really hope Oba wins. And be honest, did the AAA mask versus mask match hit harder than Clash for you as well? So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to get notified. I do a lot of shorts. I go see movies because I'm a Stubbs A-lister. I just did my review of Backrooms last night. Spoiler alert, didn't like it, but it seems to be I'm the only person on planet Earth that didn't like it. We will be seeing, we've already got our tickets to go see Masters of the Universe. I'm going to see a special Wednesday showing, so I'm excited about that. So check it out. It'll notify you when my shorts go up. Hopefully I'll get back into doing live streams. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been Danny the Dork Knight for Dork Side of the Ring. See you next time.